One of your most valuable benefits as a federal employee is a federal employee's health benefits, or FEHB. Today, we're going to look at 5 strategies that you can use with your FEHB so you can maximize value for you and your family's future. Welcome. I'm Ed Smith, President of Valor Wealth Partners. We are dedicated to educating federal employees on how to maximize value from their government benefits by developing and executing a financial plan. Today we're going to discuss the FEHB. This topic is brought up over and over again by my clients. It is one of the biggest conversations that we have so they can protect their families with the best plan and also saving money. Make sure you pay special attention to the 5th strategy, where we discuss one of the most important years you will have in healthcare planning. And as always, we have an ebook for you to follow along with or to review after this video in case you don't want to watch the video again. The first strategy is understanding FEHB while employed. The government pays 72% of your premiums while employed and also as a retiree. This is huge. Most employers don't come close to this amount. So maximizing this benefit is something you should definitely take advantage of. But even though the government pays a large portion of your premiums, your spouse might be getting a better deal from another company. I have worked with clients that their spouse is working for a hospital or another institution that puts a lot of value on healthcare, and the employer pays 100% of the healthcare premiums. Their plans also might be a little bit richer than what you currently have, although all of the plans in the government's FEHB system are pretty good. So one of the things you want to look at is if your spouse has a better deal on healthcare than you do, should you take that plan? There's a couple of factors you want to look at here. Does that plan carry into retirement? If it doesn't, you might have a great deal to retirement, but once you're at retirement, you're stuck with just the Medicare system and you're not eligible for FEHB into retirement. Another factor you have to look at with this scenario is that what happens if somebody dies? Are you still covered? Can you go back and get FEHB? Will your spouse be covered under FEHB? Another area to look at as a federal employee on FEHB is if your spouse is a federal employee as well, what plan maximizes your benefits? It might be less expensive, instead of doing a self plus one, just to do 2 individual self plans, and you each have your own coverage. It might be good for a couple reasons. The 2 of you might have different health needs, and different plans meet those needs differently. One, it might be very rich and has a really good benefit program, but a little bit more expensive. And the other plan for the healthier spouse might not be as rich in benefits, but at a lower cost. So knowing what the strengths and weaknesses are of the current plan you're on and what your spouse is on is a very good place to start. Having FEHB in place 5 years before retirement is a requirement to carry FEHB into retirement. While this is a basic concept, some people do not understand how important this is. Life throws us curveballs, and sometimes we can't plan the exact time we're going to retire. What I mean is, sometimes we're forced to retire early, or an opportunity comes up and we want to retire early. But because we need that 5-year period, we might either lose our FEHB coverage or be forced to work to finish out that 5-year period. So make sure when you're doing planning, you look appropriately at should you get FEHB earlier if you're on a different plan. When you're looking at your FEHB plan, one of the questions is why are you on this plan? What is it specifically that made you choose that plan? Was it the most popular? Was it the lowest cost? Was it just, I've heard of it and it sounded cool? You want to make sure that when you pick a plan, it's coming from the point of education and you know all of your options and what is best for you and your family's future. When was the last time you reviewed your FEHB plan? The correct answer is at least annually. If you are not looking at your FEHB plan options at least on an annual basis, you could be costing yourself a lot of money or not be prepared when you need medical services. So please, take advantage of all of the tools that are available to you as a federal employee and make sure you have the best plan for you and your family. This brings us to our second strategy, maximizing FEHB comparison tools. The first place you should be going is opm.gov. The OPM website is full of resources for you at no cost. One of the tools on the OPM website is the OPM calculator. This allows you to compare 3 plans side by side. You can see the premiums for each, deductibles, special benefits, and other out-of-pocket costs. While this calculator can be confusing and a lot of the terminology might be over your head, it's a great place to start in figuring out what's best for you. If you've never used the OPM calculator, you're missing out, because this is the first place you need to start. Inside the OPM calculator is also the brochures for each of the plans. For the most popular plan, Blue Cross Blue Shield, the plan brochure is 172 pages. For most people, that is just overwhelming. It's good to have a resource that you can go to and you trust that can help decipher all of that information in there. Another tool on the OPM website is the Consumer Checkbook FEHB Plan Comparison Tool. This is a third party that has unbiased information about what plan you should choose. It is great when you get unbiased research and the company isn't swayed by selling ads or other fees they generate from these insurance companies. Unfortunately, you do not have access to this tool until the first day of open season for FEHB. So on November 9th, you will have access to the tool and you can start planning using it appropriately. We provided links for these resources in the description section so you can quickly get to these tools. We understand that these are very confusing topics and some of the information just makes your head spin. Please ask for help, but be careful of the person and people you ask for because they might have an agenda and are getting paid to sell you a product. At Valor Wealth Partners, we do not get a commission for putting any product in place and have reduced the conflicts of interest so that we can give you the right information that can help you and your family. The third strategy is taking control through an FSA or HSA account. When you look at these, they are very different accounts. You need to know the benefits and features of each one. An FSA is generally set up and the assets are owned by the employer, while the HSA you set up separately and you can take them if you are no longer employed there. The HSA also requires a high deductible health insurance plan. So to get it, you have to go with one of those high deductible plans. But this may be beneficial for you when you look at your usage and you use those comparison tools we talked about. Another major difference between the FSA and HSA is that with the FSA, you have a limit that you can carry forward to the next year. But with the HSA, you have an unlimited amount that you can carry forward. So if you have a year without a lot of healthcare expenses, you can save up that money in case something bad happens in the future. This is a great feature so you can build a bucket of money up and then later on you can reduce some of those costs. You really want to dig into the FSA and HSA differences and making sure that it's a good choice for you. Either option is good for you taking control, saving taxes, and being effective with your healthcare plan. The fourth strategy is saving on dental and vision plans. While these are great supplements to healthcare plans, you want to look at the future FEHB plan you choose and does the benefits in the dental and vision plan already exist inside the FEHB plan? If it does, you might be paying for 2 benefits that you're only going to use once. Where you can find this is in that OPM calculator that we talked about before. Near the bottom of it, it spells out vision and dental benefits. You might get things for cleaning, for eyeglasses. Just know what your benefits are before you sign up for another benefit. When you're looking at the planning, you might already have identified major costs that are coming down the road and you want extra coverage. Maybe you have kids that require some dental work, some braces or something. You might have identified something for yourself that you're going to need some major dental work. At those points, maybe it's something that you enhance with a dental or vision plan based off of what you will need in the future. By looking at the FEHB plan you've identified for the future, knowing the benefits, and then comparing them to what you could get in the dental and vision plans, you could save yourself a lot. Again, education is the key here as you go into open season. Before we get to the fifth strategy, please take a second and subscribe to the channel. If you find this content very valuable, you might also want to hit that bell. That means you'll get notified when we launch a new video, and we're adding new ones all the time. Let's get to that fifth strategy. For me, this is the most important strategy around healthcare. It's preparing for Medicare planning. When you look at Medicare as a federal employee, you have a wide variety of choices, and the choices you make are very important long-term because some of them are irreversible. You have the option of going Medicare by itself, FEHB by itself, a combination of the two, and if you're retired military, you have to look at TRICARE and how that fits into it. Making the decisions on Medicare, especially that first year, is very complex. We want to make sure that you make the best decisions possible, because for most people, they're overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. That's why we bring in experts that specifically help with making these decisions. At Valor Wealth Partners, we provide a discount for our do-it-yourself clients, and for our full-service clients, we pay for a consultation with experts so that they can understand the best benefit for them as they make this critical decision going forward. So when you're ready for Medicare, please make sure you get good, unbiased advice so you can make the best decisions. The company we partnered with is called 65 Incorporated. They're a great team and they don't sell insurance. So they're not going to try to push you one way or another because of the commission they get on a product. They are solely there to give advice and help you out. They have a software program called I-65 that gives you a roadmap that is a step-by-step guideline of how to go through the process. We will be there with you if you are a client of ours, because we find it very valuable to help you in this complex time. 65 Incorporated has put together an amazing presentation on Medicare so you can understand it a little bit better. We've broken this presentation down into 4 parts, and the videos are right here on this YouTube channel. It's free of charge, and we won't even ask you for your email address so you can watch them. Please take time and understand Medicare if this is for you. We want to help educate you the best we possibly can, and this is one of those first steps. Another free resource for you is Medicare.gov. There are tons of free resources and tools on this website. You can go back on an annual basis and look at the drugs that you are taking and what's the best plan in place to get those drugs. This changes every year as insurance companies change their formulary on prescription drugs. So be sure, if you're in Medicare, that you come back to the Medicare.gov website every year so you can look at what's the best plan for you going forward, because they do change. Also on the Medicare.gov website is the guide Medicare and You. The 2021 guide is 124 pages long. Have fun reading it. There's a lot of good information in there, but it also might be a little bit confusing. That's why we want you to use a good resource. If you want to spend the time digging into this and knowing everything about it, go for it. But if not, make sure you get a trusted resource to help you out. Be careful of somebody that seems like they are in your best interest, but they're actually getting revenue from the companies that they recommend. Some of these companies people have been using for years and think that they're on their side. Unfortunately, they are only putting one company in front of you for you to say yes to. I'd like to take a second to clarify our relationship with different companies that we may recommend. We've talked about a lot of different resources and tools today. In the description section, you'll find a lot of these links. And on none of them do we get compensated in any way for either you going to their website or using their services. We are completely unbiased when we make a recommendation. They are tools that we have found that benefit you, and that's why we want you to use them for a starting point to have a good educational base. So please feel free to use the tools that we have for you and feel comfortable that we're not getting paid to recommend them for you. We are always looking for input on how we can be better and provide more resources for you. If you have come across a great resource that you have found invaluable, please put it in the comment section so we can share that with other people and make their lives easier. Thank you again for taking time today to be educated on the FEHB and the 5 strategies that will help you out.